Imagine a young boy abandoned on the cold Mongolian steppe. His father has just been poisoned. His family has been cast out by their own tribe. They have no army, no wealth, no power. Most people would have disappeared into history. But this boy would one day conquer more land than any ruler before him. His name was Genghis Khan, and within a single lifetime he would create the largest contiguous empire the world has ever seen. How did a poor outcast become one of history's most feared and successful leaders? How did a collection of rival nomadic tribes become a force that reshaped Asia, the Middle East, and Europe? And why does the legacy of Genghis Khan still influence the world today? Welcome to Mark's History Channel. Today we're exploring the extraordinary story of how Genghis Khan built the largest empire in history. The man who would become Genghis Khan was born around 1162. His birth name was Temujin. He entered a harsh world where survival depended on strength, loyalty, and courage. The Mongolian steppe stretched endlessly across the horizon. Different tribes fought constantly over land, livestock, and power. Life was dangerous. When Temujin was still a child, disaster struck. His father, Yesugei, was poisoned by rivals during a diplomatic visit. Without his father's protection, Temujin's family lost their status almost overnight. Their tribe abandoned them. His mother was left alone to raise her children in one of the most unforgiving environments on earth. Food was scarce. The family survived by hunting small animals, gathering roots, and fishing. At times, they came dangerously close to starvation. These difficult years shaped Temujin's character. He learned that survival required determination. He learned that loyalty could not always be trusted. Most importantly, he learned that weakness invited disaster. Those lessons would stay with him for the rest of his life. As Temujin grew older, he understood that surviving alone was impossible. He needed allies. He began forming relationships with other warriors and leaders across the steppe. One of the most important was Jamuka. The two men became blood brothers according to Mongol tradition. For a time, they fought side by side. But both men dreamed of leadership. Eventually, friendship turned into rivalry. Temujin also married Borte, a woman who would remain one of the most important people in his life. When rival tribes kidnapped her, Temujin launched a daring rescue mission. The operation succeeded and increased his reputation among the Mongols. Warriors began joining his growing following. Unlike many tribal leaders, Temujin rewarded people based on loyalty and ability rather than family connections. Talented individuals could rise through the ranks regardless of their background. This was a revolutionary idea in Mongol society. Many ambitious warriors preferred serving Temujin over traditional tribal chiefs. His influence expanded rapidly. For centuries, the tribes of Mongolia had fought each other endlessly. Temujin wanted something different. He wanted unity. Achieving that goal would require years of warfare. One by one, rival tribes were defeated or absorbed into his growing coalition. Some leaders joined willingly, others resisted and were crushed. Temujin's victories were not based solely on strength. He was an exceptional strategist. He studied his enemies carefully. He adapted quickly. He rewarded loyalty but dealt harshly with betrayal. As his power increased, more tribes accepted his leadership. In 1206, a great assembly known as a Kurultai was held. There, Temujin received a new title. He became Genghis Khan. Historians debate the exact meaning, but it is often interpreted as universal ruler. For the first time in history, most Mongol tribes were united under a single leader. The foundation of a future empire had been created. Genghis Khan understood that victory required more than brave warriors. It required organization. the Mongol army became one of the most effective fighting forces ever assembled. Its core strength was mobility. Every warrior typically traveled with multiple horses. This allowed armies to move extraordinary distances at incredible speed. Enemies often had little warning before Mongol forces appeared. The army was organized into units of 10, 100, 1,000, and 10,000 men. This structure improved discipline and coordination. Communication was also highly efficient. Messengers carried information across vast distances. Signal flags and other methods helped coordinate troops during battle. The Mongols were masters of horseback archery. Their composite bows could strike targets from impressive distances. Warriors could shoot accurately while riding at full speed. Combined with speed and discipline, this made them extremely dangerous opponents. Genghis Khan also welcomed new technology. Engineers and specialists from conquered regions were often incorporated into his forces. His army constantly evolved and improved. With Mongolia united, Genghis Khan looked beyond the steppe. One of his first major targets was the Jin dynasty in northern China. This was a wealthy and powerful state protected by fortified cities and large armies. At first glance, the nomadic Mongols seemed unlikely to succeed. Yet Genghis Khan adapted. He recruited engineers who could build siege weapons. He learned how to attack fortified positions. Mongol armies swept across vast regions. Cities fell one after another. The campaign lasted for years and involved some of the largest military operations of the era. In 1215, Mongol forces captured Zhongdu, the city that would later become Beijing. The victory demonstrated that even wealthy civilizations with walls and armies could not easily stop the Mongol advance. The empire continued to grow, but Genghis Khan's ambitions extended far beyond China. One event would dramatically expand Mongol conquests. To the west lay the Khwarezmian Empire, a powerful state stretching across parts of modern Central Asia. Initially, Genghis Khan sought trade rather than war. He sent merchants and diplomats to establish peaceful relations. The mission ended in catastrophe. Local officials seized the merchants. Many were executed. When Genghis Khan demanded justice, additional diplomats were reportedly killed or humiliated. The response was swift. In 1219, Mongol armies launched a massive invasion. The campaign became one of the most devastating military operations of the medieval world. Major cities including Bukhara and Samarkand fell. The Khwarezmian ruler fled across his collapsing empire. Within a few years, one of the region's greatest powers had effectively ceased to exist. The conquest opened the road toward the Middle East and beyond. By the early 1220s, Mongol armies were operating across enormous distances. Scouts reached areas near Eastern Europe. Generals won victories hundreds or even thousands of miles from Mongolia. The empire stretched across deserts, mountains, grasslands, and cities. Yet conquest alone was not Genghis Khan's achievement. He also created systems to manage this vast territory. Trade routes became safer under Mongol protection. Merchants could travel more easily across Asia. A communication network connected distant parts of the empire. Religious tolerance was generally encouraged. Administrators were often chosen for competence rather than noble birth. These policies helped maintain stability across diverse populations. The empire became a bridge connecting different cultures, technologies, and ideas. Its influence extended far beyond warfare. In 1227, while campaigning against the Western Xia kingdom, Genghis Khan died. The exact circumstances remain uncertain. Some sources suggest illness. Others mention injuries from a fall. Historians continue to debate the details. He was likely around 65 years old. His burial place remains one of history's greatest mysteries. No confirmed tomb has ever been discovered, but his death did not end the empire. His successors continued expanding Mongol power. Within decades, Mongol armies would reach Korea, the Middle East, Eastern Europe, and eventually China under Kublai Khan. The empire became even larger after his death. At its peak, the Mongol Empire controlled roughly 24 million square kilometers. It stretched from the Pacific Ocean to Eastern Europe. No other empire had ever connected so much territory across a continuous landmass. Millions of people lived under Mongol rule. Trade flourished along the Silk Road. Ideas, inventions, and knowledge moved between civilizations at unprecedented levels. The Mongols were feared for their military campaigns, yet they also helped create one of history's greatest periods of intercontinental exchange. The world became more connected than ever before. Much of that transformation began with a boy who once struggled simply to survive. Genghis Khan remains one of history's most controversial figures. To some, he was a brilliant leader who united divided peoples and transformed global trade. To others, he was a conqueror whose campaigns brought immense destruction. Both views contain elements of truth. What cannot be denied is his impact. From a poor outcast on the Mongolian steppe, Temujin rose to become Genghis Khan. He united rival tribes, built a revolutionary military machine, conquered vast territories, and created the largest contiguous empire in human history. More than 8 centuries later, his story continues to fascinate people around the world, because it is not merely the story of conquest. It is the story of ambition, leadership, survival, and the extraordinary power of one determined individual to change the course of history. Thanks for watching Mark's History channel. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe, and join us for more fascinating journeys into the events that changed history forever.